for sure.
Mhm.
Now, what is the 4-part storytelling? I kind of can guess what it is, but I'd like to hear what the official,
The official.
the official meaning is, I guess.
Yeah. So I'll say the word slowly. Kishotenketsu. It's basically a 4-part story act. You have your introduction, which is pretty clear who, what, when, where, why, that kind of stuff. Your development adds more information to what we've already established. And then you have the 10, which is a surprise or a twist, something unexpected. And then sort of like your resolution, what happens after that. What's unique about Kishotenketsu as a plot structure is you don't need a conflict for it to work.
Okay.
So it kind of goes against what we've all been taught, sort of like in our English classes when we were younger, is that what's the conflict? Is it, person? Is it person versus nature? Is it person versus external? Like, what is that? With Kishotenketsu, you don't have to have a conflict. It's just something unexpected or a surprise, just something, or it could be providing a new perspective to change what you saw before, or to give you a new perspective on what was already presented to you. So it's a very unique storytelling structure. Now, can Kishotenketsu have conflict? Absolutely, but it doesn't have to. It's optional.
Depends on like the kind of manga you're telling or the story you're telling, I guess.
Yeah.
Like whether it's an action one or like a romance or something.
Yep.
Go ahead, Johnny.
Okay.
Yep, folktale.
I'm sorry. I mean, I was just gonna say it reminds me of like a comic strip. Like you'd read like Calvin and Hobbes, and they don't necessarily have conflict. Sometimes it's just like a thought or like an idea or an expression. Like I like that. I like how that kind of like aligns to that a little bit.
Yeah, what's interesting about Kishotenketsu is in manga, we have like a manga format that's very similar to a comic strip called yonkoma, which is like 4 panels. And each of the panels has one of those parts of Kishotenketsu. And so that's how a lot of younger mangaka will practice storytelling, is they'll create yonkoma to practice telling stories in those 4 parts. And many like pro mangaka make these on the side or for fun. I know Eiichiro Oda, the creator of One Piece, he creates them. 2 other popular mangaka that I know make these are Rumiko Takahashi, like Ranma 1/2, Inuyasha, Mao, Urusei Yatsura, that creator. She makes them. And then Hiromu Arakawa, who makes, or who's probably most known for Fullmetal Alchemist, but is currently making Daemons of the Shadow Realm. So she also has a whole book full of all of the yonkoma that she's made for Fullmetal Alchemist. And so if you want sort of like an introduction to what yonkoma are, that's a really good book to kind of start with.
Okay.
So it's within continuity of the story. So they do these, but they do them in the story of like One Piece or Fullmetal Alchemist. Did I get that right?
Well, I mean that they're like they're additional stories, so they're like gags or jokes that they will add into the existing manga books. Sort of like at the end of the book or at the end of a chapter, they'll make like a little 4-panel comic strip for fun. What's fun about One Piece is if you connect them all together throughout all of the different volumes, they create an actual story, but they're they're like one at a time. Like
so cool.
Kind of spaced out. Yeah, it's really, really neat. So
I wish I got on board with One Piece when it started. Like the only thing I've seen from One Piece is actually the Netflix live action. But I loved it so much that I was like, oh man, I wish I was watching this anime when it started. I just cannot watch how many. There's like 3,000 episodes or something insane like that now.
I think banging out the weekend. I think the Netflix show did a great job of homogenizing it for people who can't just like readily access or pick up a manga or the anime and just kind of like get on board. Like I'm very like one of my best friends, Rick. He's my anime confidant because I'm very picky when it comes to anime. There's things I like, things I don't. So if anybody ever recommends an anime to me, I go, Rick, is this something I'm gonna like? He goes, yeah, check that out.
That's fair. Yeah, manga can be really intimidating for some people, especially if it has a different reading direction. just at the bookstore yesterday. I went to go pick up one of my orders, and she's like, "Oh, how do you read this manga stuff? It's right to left. How do you do that?" And I'm thinking, "Bro, I make it, but I'll tell you. let me sit you down and tell you how I do it." But
it's
absolutely.
just a readjustment. I find of your, it's just like thinking about how you read a regular comic, but doing it backwards.
Bixby Grant Private Eye, Fangs and Brimstone returns to Kickstarter. Serving up supernatural noir spiked with pulpy, two-fisted detective action and a taste for trouble. Your favorite mummy detective has lost his arm, chased a poltergeist, stumbled onto a ritual cult murder, and threw a suspect off the roof. With Diego the Rockabilly Vampire in tow, Bix is on the lam, shaking down mystics and contacting the netherworld with the help of a 9-year-old witch. But things get a little too real for Bix, as long-kept secrets about his personal life are revealed, and he and Diego are kidnapped by the monstrous Council Macabre. This campaign has variant covers from young Hellboy artist Craig Rousseau and from Parts Unknown artist Daniel Caval, as well as Bix enamel pins, and for the first time, original sketches from Bixby Grant artist Gonzalo Martinez. Consider backing our book, but if money's tight, no worries. We'd appreciate it if you could just help spread the word. Thanks.